Hey guys, what's going on? It's Christian with Douglas Realty, and on this episode of Kev's Corner, I'm filling in for the one and only Kev himself. He's up on vacation up in Wisconsin where it's about 10 degrees today, so he asked me to throw together a video for him in his absence. So let me just go ahead and jump right into what I want to talk about today. I feel very strongly about this issue in property management. I've been in the business for 6 or 7 years myself, and in that time frame, I've noticed this common theme. What am I talking about? Well, we wrote an article about a week or so ago on the website under Kev's Corner. It's called "Why Won't Property Managers Fix My Property?" And it's pretty much more so geared towards tenants than it is landlords, although it really does apply to landlords as well. But what it states in that article that we wrote is it gets to the bottom line, the bottom issue of why there's this general distaste for property management companies on the side of tenants. Why is there so much frustration, misunderstanding, just this like deep general distaste for property managers? And the first thing I thought is, well, it's probably because they have to pay their money to us. I mean, we're the ones collecting the rent money, and I certainly don't like paying people and paying my bills. But that doesn't generate like hate and disgust and all these negative feelings. I started thinking about it a little bit more, and it reminded me of a story from about 2 or 3 years ago that happened to me personally. And I kind of made this connection, and I talk about the story in the article where this lady came into the office and she was very frustrated that we weren't putting a new ceiling fan out on her patio. And it was just like this epiphany sort of moment that I had where I immediately went to Kevin and I said, look, this is what's happening, and we need to like kind of get the word out about what's going on, and that's what's causing this frustration. There's a lot of things that tenants can be upset at a property management company or a landlord for. I mean, there certainly is a long list. But I started thinking about this story from 2 or 3 years ago, actually longer than that, probably 5 years ago, when I was pretty new to the company and I was doing a property inspection. It was a renewal inspection. I'll never forget it. It was in Lehigh Acres, and the tenants wanted to renew their lease. So we went in to make sure that they're still treating the property good, and like the renewal inspections that we do for every property at about 7 to 9 months into the lease. And I got berated with hate. I was about to pull out my umbrella to block all the hate, and I'm like, whoa, what's the problem? And they're saying, we've asked for the screen tear to be repaired. There's some molding on the door that was chewed up by a previous dog before we moved in. And they went through like 3 or 4 things that were really not that big of a deal, but they were complaints nonetheless. They were so mad at me, and poor me, I was just the inspector kid back at the time, not really knowing what I was doing or the grand scheme of things. I was just there to simply do an inspection. There was a certain phrase that they said that stuck out with me, and they go, whoever owns Douglas Realty, or the owner of Douglas Realty, I can't believe they own all these properties and make all this money because they own all the properties, and they can't even fix these little issues. It just doesn't make any sense. I was like, whoa, no, that's not how it works. Like, we don't own the properties. Other people do. Every property we own has an individual owner, and we manage it for them. And I just was like, oh my goodness, the whole drive back. Well, first I explained it to them, and they were so apologetic and apologizing for being so mad at me. And I explained the situation. I said, look, every time you submit a repair request, which we ask you to do in writing, and we get it here at the office. Every time we get one, we do our job. We contact the owner and we say, hey, property owner, like, this is what the tenant's requesting to be done. Do you want to do it? We're happy to get you some estimates to get the work done. We'll get you some pricing together, and let's do it or not do it. And yeah, there's situations where when a tenant moves in and something's not working that's major or that needs to be fixed that's required by law. Of course, at that point, there's really no choice. We have to fix it. But these, little sort of nagging things that can upset someone, we have to present to the property owner. And like I said, when I explained the whole situation, they were so apologetic. They finally understood. And that whole ride back to the office, I was so frustrated and upset that, here I am working for a property management company, and no one even really knows what property management is. I mean, it's kind of a niche business, and sure, you can kind of guess what it is by the name of it in the context, but it's not like it's like a fireman, a policeman, an insurance agent, an investment banker. It's not like a well-known profession, and it's a very niche sort of thing, and not a lot of people specialize in it and do it full time. I thought to myself, you know what? I bet there's a lot of people out there, even to this day, that really don't know how we operate or what we do or how we make money or what the whole point of property management is. And especially the fact that Douglas Realty and any other property management company doesn't own the properties themselves. What really stemmed this was a few weeks ago, there was some really negative, nasty things being said to us by some tenants. And that, like I said in that article, this lady that was in the lobby just absolutely furious, and kind of causing a scene and whatever. And it occurred to me that this message needed to get out. And it's just so important that if you're a tenant, that you understand that property management companies do not own the properties. And if they're not repairing the stuff in your house, it's likely not because of them. Now, I say likely because there's two very distinct possibilities of what's going on. So let's just use an example. You live at 123 Alabama Street and you have a rip in your screen and your front door doesn't, well, that's not a good example. Let's just say it's a ripped screen, right, on the back patio, and it's frustrating because the bugs keep getting in, and you don't know, you don't want to spend the money, or you don't have the knowledge of how to fix it yourself, whatever. If you put in a tenant repair request to your management company and they just throw it in the trash, or they laugh and go, oh, pff, what a joke, I mean, we're not going to fix that, and they put it in the shredder, yeah, you should be mad at the company. I mean, absolutely. They didn't listen to your needs and your wants, and you have every right to ask for those wants because you're paying a good amount of money to live there per month. But the second scenario where you don't have the right to be mad at the company is when they submit it to the owner. They take your request and send it to the owner in an email and say, hey, look, this is what the tenant at 123 Alabama Street is asking for. Let's get some quotes and some estimates to get the stuff fixed. Are you okay with that? And if the property owner says, no, it's not necessary to fix, we don't want to spend the money, we're not doing it, then you know what? Life's tough. I mean, sometimes things are just tough and you don't get your way. This is also crucial for property owners. And I see this happen with the clients that we work for. They'll say things sometimes like, you guys are always asking me to fix it, or these tenants keep on asking for so many things to be fixed. And there's kind of a frustration on their end too. And to that, the argument is, well, let's just step back a second and take a look at this. If we're trying to rent out a property that doesn't have the necessary repairs done, the paint doesn't look good, the doors are chewed up, the screens are ripped, things like that, it's really tough to market the property and get it rented. It tarnishes the Douglas Realty name because we have a nasty property out there on the market, and any agent that goes and shows the property, we're going to have a tough time renting it. And every day that your property's vacant means a huge loss at the end of the year on your bottom line in the money that you're going to make. This really works for both ways, and I don't want to cause any frustrations or anything like that. I just really want to get the word out and explain, for anybody confused, really, I guess, like what property management is, and that we simply play the role of the middleman of the relationship between tenant and owner, and we kind of separate that relationship and we become the middleman, and we handle everything from collecting the rents and sending the payments to the owners, to the repairs, to the day-to-day stuff. I mean, it's just everything that we do. It's just a recipe for blame and frustration and hate. So I just don't want tenants of ours to feel like we sit in our office and look at repair requests and laugh at them and say, oh, that's never going to get done and we're not going to fix that property. It's honestly quite the opposite. We vouch for both our owners and our tenants because it's important to listen to both sides, to have a healthy relationship, because at the end of the day, everyone's got to sleep at night and know that they try to do the best job that they could to make everybody happy. And yes, are there frustrating tenants to work with? Absolutely. Are there frustrating owners? Absolutely. And you know what? People have bad days. So do we. I just wanted to set the record straight. Exactly what property management is, what we do, and how do we try to alleviate a lot of that hate and a lot of the issues that are just naturally occurring in this business. And that's just the way it is, and it'll always be like that. But the more that we can educate and explain these situations, I think the better that the whole industry will be. So if you guys are bored and have nothing else to do, and this topic is interesting to you, you can go over to our website, douglasrealty.net, click on the blog section. It's under Kev's Corner. And it should be recently towards the top up there somewhere, called Why Property Just Won't Fix My Property, or Why Won't They Fix My Property. Check it out, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you think everything I said doesn't make sense, or you think everything I said is spot on, let us know. You can always email us at wecare@douglasrealty.net, wecare@douglasrealty.net. And if you guys want any other content or any other questions that you may have, go ahead and email us and we'll shoot a video, because like I said, Douglas Realty, we're all about educating both tenants and landlords and helping out the community in that sense. So Drop us an email, give us a call, anything we can do to help. Thanks, guys.